Are you friends with, do you live with, or are you married to someone who seems to get angry most of the time? Does it seem as though their go-to emotion is anger? And have you wondered why that is? Have you wondered why there doesn't seem to be another emotion? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about anger and explain that for some people, anger is actually the cover-up or substitute emotion. Okay, let's talk about that in this video today. Hi friends, Ashley Berges here today to discuss anger and how anger is actually, for many people, the cover-up or substitute emotion. I know that you may live with, or you may be married to someone that seems to get angry. It seems that that's what they do. They don't get sad, they don't show hurt, they don't show fear, they don't show guilt or shame, but it seems that they stay in that space of anger. And you know, it's interesting because to me, anger is a good cover-up emotion. And as you know it, when someone's angry, it's almost like they're inflated, right? And when you get angry, it kind of seems maybe more powerful. And so I feel like to some degree when people are angry, instead of looking or connecting with any of those other emotions, it not only makes them feel more powerful, but they feel more justified. And I also feel that there's that fear factor, right? That huge fear factor of acknowledging those other emotions, right? Because if we acknowledge that we have other emotions that aren't anger, we're actually showing our vulnerability. And I feel that for some people, getting there has probably never happened, or if they did get there at one time, they were mocked or made fun of or ridiculed. So when we think about it, some of us are unconsciously mutating and transforming our true emotions from what it is to anger to avoid dealing with the situation, right? Avoid dealing with the feelings. And I want to offer a reminder that to some degree, when we're dealing with folks that their go-to emotion is anger, they are emotionally young. Okay, emotionally young, in the fact that they haven't explored their other emotions. Perhaps they don't want to explore their other emotions or their underlying feelings that they have. A lot of times that can be because they were stunted at a young age, you know, by physical, mental, or emotional abuse, right? Neglect. Or they were told to not show their emotions because a real man doesn't show their emotions, or a woman doesn't show her emotions. Or they were made fun of for showing their emotions at a young age. And so I want to really captivate that because that's really important, because we have to understand where it's coming from. And I think that gives us a mindset to understand that that's a possibility. You know, there's also the possibility that the person hasn't gone deep to see it because of their fear of what they're going to find. If you were friends with, living with, or married to someone whose go-to emotion is anger, let's discuss the 6 things you can do to help them to actually begin to explore their true emotions. The first thing that we want to do, something that we can control, is that we cannot get wrenched up emotionally in this conversation. Okay, when the other person gets angry and their anger gets to a certain level, usually what happens, that makes us stressed out, it triggers us, right? It's hard to stay calm when someone's really wrenching it up. And so the first thing we have to do is we have to take an emotional step back and realize that when they're angry and it seems like they're angry at us, it's just a projection. Okay, and if you can understand that, we can step back and not get triggered. The best thing about this is that when they do get angry and we wrench it up, we lose it, right? We lose the whole possibility of exploring emotion because it becomes about the argument. It becomes about how you argued or what you said. It doesn't help them explore. So that's the first thing, is really watching yourself, take that emotional step back, realizing that they're really angry at themselves, and try to work on yourself to be calm and to be mindful in the moment. The second thing that I want to underline is that realizing that their anger, even though it feels like it's coming to you, like I was talking about, is completely misdirected. Okay, so understanding that it's not you that they're normally angry with, it's usually a situation or a circumstance that they haven't been able to process. Okay, and so a lot of times we wrench it up, right, because we take things personally. So understanding that the anger is misdirected, I think that can help you to take that emotional step back that I was talking about in step 1. In step 3, you need to be able to calmly ask them what is truly bothering them, what is truly upsetting them. And you have to give them time to process this, because their go-to is going to be wrenching it up more, getting more angry, more bothered. Because remember, when something really connects with somebody and they don't want to deal with it or process that emotion, they're going to use that cover-up emotion even more, because that's been their go-to for a very long time. That's the way that they've gotten out of processing emotion. And it's probably been that way for their entire life. Okay, so this is not going to change overnight, but if we can actually be there as a sounding board and someone that actually is steady and equal and has that equilibrium, we can actually probably shine some light on the situation for them and at least open their eyes or open their consciousness enough to understanding that this anger is just a cover-up. The fourth thing that I want you to do is, if they're calming down a bit, is to point out that the anger is actually covering up their true feelings. Just say it in a positive way. I believe that your anger is covering up your true feelings. What are you truly feeling? What's bothering you? What's going on? And the fifth point is to calmly ask them to look past that anger that they have, and to really identify what is truly upsetting them. Asking them what they're thinking. What are the thoughts that are going through their mind? You know, usually in these situations, people's minds are racing, right? That's why they have that adrenaline, it's racing. They're getting angry and angry and saying, hey, just slow down your thoughts. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking? You know, talk about that. Let's get this out. Let's have some communication. Because see, the only way we can get to step 5 is if we're not wrenching it up, right? Because the other thing that happens with folks that haven't dealt with their emotions is they find ways to deflect the situation. They find ways of putting the blame on you. So instead of them going deep into their emotion and dealing with that guilt or that fear or that shame or whatever it is, they get angry at you about how you presented yourself or how you acted in the argument. And so that's very important to think about. And the sixth point and last point that I want to discuss in today's video is that if they don't calm down, if they haven't calmed down, if they're still being extremely angry, you've got to let them know that you're taking a time out. Okay, taking a time out, and you will continue this discussion when they calm down. Okay, because you don't want to continue to expose yourself to someone with explosive anger. You have to be really careful about that too, because remember, we can help people deal with this, and we can help people understand and learn that there is emotion they need to process. We can shine the light on the fact that anger is a cover-up emotion. But we have to realize that our health and wellness matters too. Okay, so as we know, when somebody is explosively angry around us, it can cause us to have tension, anxiety, you know, and it can actually manifest in physical situations as well. So I want you to be aware of that. We can help people, we can help uncover the reality, but I also don't want to put you in harm's way in the process. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if this video has connected with you or resonated with you, please give us a like on this video. And in the comment section, have you gotten a chance to walk through this? What did you see from the process? What worked, what didn't? You know, I've realized that consistency is key. And one of the main pieces is that we can't get triggered to wrench up the anger with them. Because once that happens, we can't expose any of this, because it turns into something completely different. And they can't explore that because they're too busy getting angry at us for however they feel, which is obviously not the truth, but we actually lose the ability to learn and grow in the process. Also, check out the membership options here on the channel by just clicking the join button. It'll tell you exactly what's offered and the great content that's offered as a member. And I hope this video has really connected with you and can offer some clarity in your life. And don't forget to live your true life.